I have a huge love for young people. I motivate in spaces where I'm asked to. And I know that moment, you can almost see the switch that begins to happen, the light that illuminates from within. And so I recognize it from that point of view. But this segues so beautifully into this last question that I have, which is about exponential positive results. You know, you've just spoken to how now they are employable as a result of your impact. Perhaps we can hear because I know time is of the essence, this would be the last one. Perhaps talk to me about that ripple effect that you have had that has left such an indelible mark that it just has to be said and recognized one last time. Conny? Who's Conny?
You just had to start with me. Then I guess it'll be exponential. Okay, I think for us, in the two examples that I've mentioned, not that the only ones, I think the impact so far, we can say we've touched about almost 2,000 livelihoods in just in the past year alone, right? And then when we look at, I hope that's what you asked, King?
Yes, go ahead, yes. Impact.
Impact. And then when you also come back into the area of active play, because I'm sure you're thinking, oh, what is she talking about, all these chocolate people? You know, we also are involved in many other initiatives that speak to healthy eating or encouraging healthy and active lifestyles. And we can say that through one of our programs, which is Nestlé for Healthier Kids, obviously in partnership with the Department of Basic Education, we've so far touched the lives of 80,000 pupils. So we do have a target of 20 million by 2030, and we are well on track with that because that's a global target. So South Africa actually remains to be the leading one in achieving that target. So we have come a long way. There are things that we're doing, maybe not saying much about them, but yeah. There is definitely impact, and there's more that we can still do. And I think that in the next year, so maybe let's just say by 2030 itself, we would have realized everything that we had put ourselves out to realize.
All the best with it.
Thank you.
Thank you, Conny. Kate?
Cool. It's a hard one to answer, but Tops and Tags, which is now Give to Green, because it's empowered school children, families. It's given them a platform in which to contribute to people with disabilities, who's a wheelchair. So in South Africa, it's really scary. So when you see someone who's a child, the other day, someone wrote to me and said, this kid in Orange Farm was disabled and been lying on the floor for 11 years because there was had never been in a wheelchair. So to see, I mean, that impact is amazing. And so for over 1,000 wheelchairs over the time, and now to extend that program, very proud of it. But also empowering businesses like the Mangena family, where dedicated people have worked in such dire, like the waste pickers. I love those guys. I love them to death, who risk their lives every day and make such a meaningful impact, just to provide certain facilities that watch them grow their business. And then one last one, just on education. I mean, because we don't have all the stats like you guys, and we'll get better at it. But I will never forget, Teach SA in the Northern Cape, quite a very rural school. The pass rate was 43%. It was dire. Then COVID happened and load shedding, and these kids. And we put we sponsored a Teach SA teacher in that school, and in 1 year, just from one dedicated teacher passionate about helping those kids, the pass rate went from 43% to 93% for matric.
Sure.
And I mean that for me still goosebumps. So we never like this little impact has big impact.
It's big impact.
Yeah.
It's big impact. Thank you, Kate. Leanne?
I just want to say that I'm resonating well with that example that you shared of the child on the floor who needed a wheelchair. And sometimes in corporate we get overwhelmed, or I think all of us, we get overwhelmed by the idea that to have impact it has to be large scale. You go big or you go home messaging. And so you didn't have the budget, so now your project is a fail, which is absolutely not the case. And I think that we should all get out of that mindset, because for that child of one, the impact was enormous, life-changing. And so, I'm maybe just keen to share that message that, our recycling campaign, for example, in the beginning started with 18 measly schools. then it increased to 80, now it's at 100, maybe next year 10,000. But start, you know, that old saying, start where you are with what you have, with what you can do. At least a little bit, you know what I'm talking about.
Wonderful.
And I mean, I also just want to say that people are looking for opportunities for hope and looking for opportunities to hop on the bandwagon. So, you know, in the scope of this library project that we're talking about, we put out one post on LinkedIn asking corporates and communities to help us collect and raise books to be able to stock this library that Danone had built. I cannot tell you the amount of incredible feedback we got from one post, because corporates and individuals and communities are begging for opportunities to share purpose, to have meaning, to add value. And so, I mean, I have a lot of these partners in the room today, but LP and payslip suppliers, I'm not exactly sure what the company is called, but LP, even at one point, the Firefighters Association of Roodepoort was collecting books. I mean, and now at this stage, we have around 6,000 books that we're using to stock the library that we're building on Thursday, and 100% of those were sourced from community and corporate goodwill. And so I just think when it comes to impact, don't be stunted by the scale. Of course we want scale. Yes, we'll get there. But start with what you have, even if it's one school, even if it's one child, even if it's one LinkedIn post to ask for books. Because there is momentum that sparks from things like that, and people are begging to be involved. We are all seeking purpose.
Beautiful. Thank you. Thank you very much, Leanne. Navisha?
I think similar. So the old adage, give a man a fish and he'll eat for the day, and teach him how to fish and he'll eat for a lifetime. I think that's something that resonates with what we've been doing. Through the schools program, the Health and Action program, in phase 2, we started having key schools that were then going out and teaching other schools in their communities about what they learned. So it's about that multiplier effect. How is it that we can ensure that it's not just done for me for today, but it's done for me and my community around me? How can we spread the love? How can we spread the generosity? And we see that again with our aquaponics program, where we have a hub and spokes model. We create a hub, we teach here, and from that hub, we get other people coming in from the different spokes to be able to contribute, to be able to learn, to be able to grow.